If you run a business, however big or small, and sometimes wonder whether you're doing the things the hard way or the right way, then you're in the right place. We are two business owners who choose to sit around the same table, share our mistakes, our challenges, and we try to keep learning. This is our journey to a million, and we are two ordinary blokes in business. Good morning, John. How are you?
Good morning, Martin. Yes, I'm fine on a Wednesday morning. It's great to see the sun shining. Let's hope it doesn't get as hot as it said it would do.
Think it's going to. But enough about the weather already. We're back.
We're back.
We've been away.
Relaxed, refreshed, rejuvenated.
Yes, our listener was very concerned that we'd had a couple of weeks where there was no podcast. And that was all down to the fact that you very selfishly chose to go away on holiday.
I know. I'm sorry, listener. Blame it on me. Most people do, but I'm trying to get over that.
Well, I do. I blame it on you. So we're gonna have a bit of a wrap up and go over what we've done so far this year, which is it's crazy that we started this in January. We're going to wrap up this week and have a little bit of a hiatus, a break over the summer period, and then come back bigger and stronger.
Does that mean we're coming back with series 2, Martin?
Oh dear, that's scary, isn't it? Seriously, well, I mean, we're only doing this for our own benefit anyway, so yeah. Yes, let's do it. Let's do it.
Dear. Yes. Okay. Well, we certainly have, haven't we? We set out with this with saying we'd do 3, or I said I'd do 3 episodes. You were a lot more enthusiastic than me. You had no fear, and those were past, present, and planning for the future. And I can't believe that we're something like 19 episodes in now. So that's amazing. And certainly I think we've faced our fears and doubt. The fact that we're still doing it, the fact that we have a listener is brilliant, because that was always a big doubt that would anybody listen, and obviously one person does, and we continue to get some questions in, which is good.
Yeah, really, really, really pleased. I mean, again, I don't think we're hitting the dizzy heights of Mr. Bartlett, and I don't think he needs to worry too much. And you keep mentioning sponsorship deals, John.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of these yet.
No, nor me.
Oh, you just mentioned them. We haven't got them. You're just like manifesting. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, we're thinking positively.
Yeah. So yeah, we started off with the trilogy, which was in when we were very first at the conference. Then we did our pilots, which were quite interesting, quite good, quite well received. We were talking about where we have been, where we were, and where we wanted to go, and then that led on to a few more episodes where we've covered a myriad of subjects, John, from business growth and scaling, which is the main one, cash flow, debt, marketing, how to stand out, customer retention, teams, culture, leadership, what it's like owning a business, our own personal development mindset, systems. I remember one particular policy document of yours, which
the famous 4 candles.
And kind of our real lived experience in business. What's sort of stood out for you?
Well, I think when you rattle off the list like that, I can't believe that we've spoken with such authority and
You chose the one word that we don't speak with.
Well, I've listened to the podcasts, and I know I've used brilliant and awesome and amazing several times. So I thought authority was a really good one to use today. But yeah, we've covered an awful lot, and I think that's the basis of our, where this came from, where this started was you saying we have these conversations. Let's just make them a bit more public, really. Let other people in, and we've done that. I think for me, because I think that was your sort of question there. What has it meant to me? Well, I think it's meant quite a lot, actually. I've learned a lot about myself, and I've learned a lot about accepting and recognizing that actually, the little lawn care company that, as Martin says, uses 3 litres of fuel in a year, that doesn't travel too far out of Nottingham, we've actually built, a really good, successful business. And probably until you start talking about it and stand back and reflect and look inwards, you probably don't realise as much as, or I personally didn't realise as much of what we've actually achieved. That's almost into the world of bragging there, isn't it? But I don't want it to be a brag, but I want it to be an honest reflection of actually doing the podcast has actually made me look at me a little bit differently, I think.
I think it's a long way from a brag, John. I think it's just the reality. I think actually as business owners, we become so wrapped up in our, for want of a better expression, baby, and we wake up in the morning and we're solving problems usually, until we finish the day, whether that be in the office or late at night on the sofa or on your phones. I think we can become a little bit wrapped up in the day-to-day elements. And I think, like you said, and another one of your favourite words, which is good, is the reflection and looking back and seeing actually what you have achieved. And I think there's a lot of positivity in that. And I think we perhaps need to do that a little bit more. Even the small wins. I mean, when you look back over time, you see you come. I mean, I had a conversation, must have been 6-8 months ago, with my soon-to-be daughter-in-law, and she was. I think she's the first person ever to have said that Heather and I had built something really good, and she was really kind of taken aback by that. And when you think about it, both you and I started with a blank sheet of paper, like so many others in business. You start with just an idea, with nothing, and then you look at what assets you have, what knowledge you have, what team you have around you, what lifestyle you have, and all of that has been built from ground zero.
Yeah. And I think the point I would add to that as well, Martin, is that I personally hadn't realised that all the points that I've been really hard on myself, potentially sometimes probably feeling a bit sorry for myself, really, I didn't understand how that was projected to others and those of people in my team. And actually, one of the things that I've learned through the Two Blokes Book Club and the additional readings that I've done is that it's have no fear and doubt, really, and you've got to keep coming out with those things for your team. And I think sometimes if I could be critical of myself that maybe I didn't come across in the right way, because I was wrapped up in myself and actually not seeing the bigger picture. So that reflection bit is important. But I think for us now, again, Greener Gardens, a lot has changed in the last sort of 2-3 years. A lot has changed in the last 12 months. But I can certainly see that the team that we have got the skills and the confidence, and we are actually growing the business, which is what our journey to a million is all about, isn't it? So
Absolutely.
Doesn't mean to say that we got it right. Doesn't mean to say that we can't still improve. But I think I'm realising things that as a leader, and that visionary from the book we were talking about, sort of before a little bit of a break, you've got to get those. You've got to maintain that vision. You can't get stuck in it. You've got to work, on it.
Yeah, I pick up two things from what you just said. Then fear and doubt. How you described how you feel sometimes, and you may have projected that onto the team, right? Well, fear and doubt are completely natural. They're, for any person, but it's whether you let that affect you or affect your decisions. And I think probably when you're more aware of it, like you're saying, then you're less likely to let it affect your decisions. So that's kudos to you. And the other one, the visionary and the what was it? Visionary and the the implementer.
Yes.
So that has been fantastic. Heather has been implementing, and I've been looking at stuff, um, um, which sounds quite funny, but actually it's really working. She's done a cracking job. She's like and actually thrives on it. And she's got Holly who's helping her to get that implementation done, and it's going great guns. So I've got a lot to thank you for with that book recommendation as well. So yeah, like we said at the top of the program, it's you're always learning, and it might be something, we might be learning something now that others have learned months, years ago. But we've got a lot of knowledge to share as well on other bits and pieces in business, and I think also business. I think we've mentioned this before. It can be a lonely place. So that camaraderie and letting people know that there's others out there that share the same fears, hopes, dreams, realities. It's I think it's a cracking thing. So well done us. Well done
yeah.
us.
Well, I think so. Round of applause. Yeah,
I think this might be why we've only got one listener. We're just self-indulgent.
We should be, actually, because I think
more American.
20 episodes in, I think we've done really well there. And to cover, you listed a number of topics there that we've done, and that's brilliant. And I think you also have to say, well, what we've learned from this is it's another form of networking, isn't it? And that's what we've realised has grown our businesses through, in the lawn care world, the Lawn Care Association, giving a bit of a shout out to the Lawn Care Association, but also you and I, many years ago, were chair and sort of vice chair, and you had a theme of grow your business, and they were great words, but actually I think I can't remember how many years ago that was now, Martin. It's probably 5-6 years ago.
No, it's 10 years, wasn't it?
Well, the association's been going for about 10 years, but I think
oh right, so yeah, it probably was 6
that
then.
sort of conference is about sort of 5 or 6 years ago.
Yes, that's right, around COVID time.
Yeah, but how important those words were. What a great title for a conference. Grow your business, invest in you. And I just wonder, how many people listen to those words, but actually do listen to investing a bit in themselves, really.
Yeah. I think it's very easy to be. There's another thing I saw online recently was a guy actually who was selling his lawn care business, and he'd advertised online, and I think this was some time ago, and then more recently there was a post from him in the association Facebook page about how a little bit of networking had reignited his passion for lawn care. And I say lawn care, but this could be any industry, but it's just making those contacts, speaking to people, and he used the word stagnate. He felt like he'd stagnated because he hadn't had any contact with anyone else. And so all he had was what he knew, his own thoughts, how he'd always done things. And that's a repeatable, that's great. If you've got a business that's going great guns and making loads of money, you just repeat. But I don't think that was the case. And I think actually he'd kind of reached a point where his love for it had gone. That has now been reignited due to connecting with others in a similar position. And the post was fantastic. I think it was a real joyous post and really, really nice thing to see. And I did think back to, it must have been, I don't know, 2012, something like that. There was a period where I could really relate to that.
And me.
And I think no outside influence, no reading books, no listening to podcasts, no reading any kind of industry literature, and as soon as you do, your whole world opens up, and you're like, you just feel your imagination goes wild.
I think we've hit the nail on the head there in terms of, the sharing bit is you see so much in others that you've probably been through where you can actually help them, because you've been on that journey already. You've been through that sort of stage already. I saw another text from a regular contributor the other day, John. I think he texted it to you as well, because we both sort of have a chat with John, and I can relate to exactly what he was talking about, because we've been through it. And actually, I didn't recognise it at the time of reading the post. I've recognised it thinking about it afterwards, and I've got to give him a call. Well, we did talk yesterday. Then we sort of had to break off, and we never sort of got back in touch again. But
what was that about?
I think he was. Well, I think John was talking about his staff and the thought process and the attitude of staff, and I think he was beating himself up about whether he's doing it right or wrong, and how he's thinking about sort of topics they're talking about. So yeah, I probably haven't described that very well. So sorry, John. It was a
managing a team, leading a team,
managing a team. See, that's what you're so good at, Martin.
It's like a quiz.
It is. Well, it is early.
I don't. Well, going back to your original question, what are we going to title this podcast? I don't know. Is the answer?
The power of networking, possibly.
I think we might have already had one called that. But I mean, as soon as you asked the question, there was a long pause. So maybe we just call it the long pause.
Well, that'll be a much better title. If we put a picture of a dog on there, we'll get loads of people looking.
Yeah.
So,
dear me.
So what have you learned? I've sort of shared a bit there about what I've learned about me and what I've learned from the podcast. Martin, give the listener a bit of a summary. Would you be happy to give the listener a bit of a summary about how you think it's affected you?
I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I have, as I do, because it's just our conversations, which I hate to say this, John, but I actually, when you were off enjoying yourselves in sunny climes, I actually missed you. That's a bit weird, isn't it?
Well, you never texted me to say that you'd miss me, but I didn't know
That's because you kept sending me pictures of crystal blue, like sea and sky, and it's just like, oh dear me, I really could do without that.
I know. It was gorgeous.
Anyway, enough about that. I think again, it's the self-reflection thing. And also, I think, I mean, I like to think that I'm a humble person anyway, but I think humility, I think you have to learn that when you're putting out a podcast and getting 40 listens a week. So I think that, and early days, though. Early days. We can grow that, John. I reckon 50 by 2028.
Series 2 is going to be a blinder, isn't it?
Let's hope it's better than Series 1.
I can't believe you got me to say Series 2 is happening.
That's what we're going to call it. Series 2s are going to be a blinder. Yeah. So
humility.
So humility, and again, I think a similar vein to you. I think give myself a bit of a break sometimes. I think we're hard on ourselves, and actually, my team have proved to me that they're more than capable. let them do what they've got to do and don't interfere. That's another thing I tend to do in the office. Because we're in an open plan office, I tend to hit everything that's going on, and I now stop myself from interfering.
And is that hard? Has that been hard?
Yeah, especially when there's something going wrong with a customer, and you're kind of like, why is it going wrong? That shouldn't be happening. Why has someone missed reading a sentence, or why have they, not called ahead, or for whatever reason, whatever small thing, and you think like, this is a really easy fix. Why is that not happening? And then how do you redress that and put it right? And actually, like I said, our team are more than capable of dealing with that and getting it and putting it right. But it's just because you hear it, you're passionate about what you do, you're invested in your own business, and you want everything to be perfect. And I think that's natural. But if you want to scale, you can't achieve that.
No, and I think that's a big thing that I've learned over the last few years is that you can't do it all. If you're the person that's doing it all, people aren't going to make the efforts you want them to make because they've got no encouragement to do such a thing, have they? So
No.
and
And
go
I
on.
was just going to say, and you've got to allow people to make mistakes, because that's how we got here. We got here by making mistakes and then learning from them.
Mm,
And if we don't allow others to make mistakes, then how are they going to learn?
yes, yeah,
So I think it's creating that safe space for people to feel valued and worthy and comfortable to be able to go and be their best.
yeah. And I think also what that enables you to do is um, rather than just talking about a process, that actual that you do to sort of rectify it, that process kicks in reality then, doesn't it? And you can share it with them and they can actually live
They
not just the mistake that's happened, but actually live the vision of actually this is how we deal with it when it has happened. And that comes back to the words on your walls, isn't it? Which was something like, I can't remember now, Martin, but it was the words that the things happen, but it's how we deal with it that makes the difference.
yeah, that's exactly it.
And I think, that's by those things sort of happening. That's that's a great way of actually implementing that. Those just aren't words; they're actually actions and a vision and a value that you carry forward into it, and that can be a lot of corporate words that look on documents that people probably don't read them or understand them or don't believe them because they're just words. But actually, I think what you can do is demonstrate to people exactly that is the vision and value of the business.
And you lead by example, so that's your culture. That's how you
Yeah.
that's how you do everything. And actually, that reminds me, we did a charity walk on Saturday, and we had a couple of members of the team along with us, and it was fantastic. It was lovely to just overhear some of the conversations that were going on, and understand. I mean, one guy just been out on a lads' holiday to, of all places, Benidorm. Got back at silly o'clock in the morning, then came out, did a 25k walk. So, fair play to him. But he was still chatting about how much he loves lawn care, and
Yeah.
you're just thinking like, that's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. And things I've taken from the podcast of what we talked about. One is your note there, the sparkle in their eyes. There's so much that I've taken from just the little snippets that we talk about that you think, yeah, I get that, and I can implement that. So as the visionary, Dave's off this week, so I haven't come back and overloaded people with lots of ideas because that's wrong. But we've just sort of sat there and sort of working through what's the here and now, and I'm trying to assume a different role for me in the business, a bit like you with your with Heather, and you're the visionary and Heather's the implementer. It's
I'll tell you, that's I've noticed that's also a bit of an issue for me, something that I'm having to take a look at, John. And I don't know if you're the same, but I have almost too many ideas. Like, and I kind of like I have to check myself, because otherwise I'd be changing things left, right, and centre each day, and I think actually that's wrong because that leads to a lot of ambiguity and a lot of mess and stress because no one knows where they're standing. But it's something I've recognised recently that it's just I love having the ideas, and some of them, like I imagine in my head, at least a couple of them each week are absolutely great ideas that we can implement. But there's also quite a lot of other stuff that's just noise.
I suppose then you have to sort of look at, are those ideas actually going to, keep the business simple, keep the processes simple, don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
It's that KISS, isn't it? Keep it simple, stupid sort of thing. I feel the same thing. I think I've tried to channel some of my energy of that vision into stuff that I've probably wanted to do for a long time, but haven't been able to do. So yeah. That's where my time was going from. The next week or so is going to be it because I'm sort of helping to cover for Dave. But yeah, so he'll be really excited when he gets back, won't he? He'll have had a month of it. He'll have had a month of it. But what's great about all of that is the business is happening. It's all the things we talked about. That's why are you scaling? You're scaling to free up for me some time for me.
Yeah.
It's scaling it so that can prove the business can sort of run well. In the last sort of 8 weeks, I've had 3 weeks off. And it's all happening. It's great.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I think the whole scaling part, which is pretty much where we started this. The name of the podcast, Our Journey to a Million, that's bringing up some interesting facts for me as well. Like some of the journey that we're on at the moment, and there's a lot of stuff that we don't talk about that's current because it's a bit delicate for whatever reason, but that will probably come out in season 2. Is that whole journey is set to test you, and test your metal and see what you're capable of doing. And it's like it isn't easy. Like when you see that, I think we spoke about the stats before, but building a business that has a revenue of £1 million is quite a rare thing. To do it takes a lot of energy, a lot of time. Not many of those. I think probably what we'll do for series 2, maybe we'll introduce some little things, John, but some business facts. But I know things like Starbucks, that was going for God knows how many years before it actually started to scale. So that was a case of, getting the business running, earning some money, and then, finding out the systems and the process, putting that in place, and then scaling. So, there's a lot of learning years before you actually become what some people see as a success now.
Yes. And I think I'd have to listen back to one of the earlier podcasts where we actually said that if you're running a business of £1 million, actually of the UK businesses that are VAT registered and PAYE sort of registered from the government, you're in one of the top sort of 5% of the businesses in the UK, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is amazing, thinking that you're going out there treating somebody's lawn.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So we should all be really proud of what we've achieved in that way.
Yeah, and anyone who's doing that in whatever industry, they all face their own challenges, all face their own industry specific details, I guess, of what they need to do, and their own challenges. So, fair play to anyone who does it, and also anyone that's, there's a lot of lifestyle businesses out there, and fair play to them as well, because a lot of people make money from small business.
Yeah. So series 2, you got some ideas then, Martin?
Yeah, maybe we mix it up, change the format a little bit. Get some new presenters.
So we're going to
which,
invest to grow.
well, we did talk about getting some guests on, didn't we? And
We did.
But the worry is that guests are better than us.
Well, that's not going to be difficult, is it? I'm slipping back there. That's going to be hard to do. Why don't we reach Stephen Bartlett then?
Should we ask him on? We can read out these response.
The rule of 7. Somebody must know him.
Oh dear. Yeah. So I think we'll get some good subjects. We'll change the format. Oh God, I'm saying this out loud, aren't I? That means we'll do it.
And when are we going to do this, Martin? I think this is great. When are we going to do this? We're going to come back in sort of August time.
Yeah, I think so. We'll have a little bit of a summer break.
Yeah.
And then come back then.
Yeah.
Bright, breezy, refreshed, new format. Same old us two.
Well,
am I selling it?
You're selling it really well. So it'll be interesting if any the listener wants to send us in some more questions that we can put into the planning. Then that'll be good. Or questions at twoblokes.co.uk. That's the email address. That would be good. And I think what will be exciting out of all of that is that, we've been climbing the mountain towards our sort of 2020 sort of 6 goal, and so actually come the autumn time, we'll be hopefully very busy with a full order book and racing to the finish line, isn't it? So I think that'll be really exciting as a year then for the podcast title, is to sort of see how we've got on with our journey.
Yeah, I think that's probably the first episode, isn't it? Is having a recap on where we're at, because we'll be a good 8 months in, so 2/3 of the year in, and that will give us an indication of how we're doing against our plan.
Yeah.
There we go.
That sounds like a plan.
Is that about it, John? Is that a good place to wrap up?
Well, I think so. If anybody's watching I
mean, I must say, you look a bit like Casper the Ghost this episode.
I'll tell you what.
The interactive wall has turned into the interactive face.
I've had to get my microfiber cloth during the day to sort of mop my brow.
There's not someone standing just to the right of you with a big magnifying glass, is there, trying to set your face on fire?
I forecasted that at some point this interactive wall is going to have
a detrimental effect on your health.
Yes. Today is obviously the day.
Oh, well, let's hope you make it to Series 2, John.
Well, I do as well, Martin. Oh, well, I see I got rid of the cough, just having a bit of a cough and splutter there. Yes, I seem to have got rid of the cough while I was on holiday. So
that's good.
So if you got, a chit-chat, let's not do the chit chat. We'll that will really spoil the episode. So, would you like me to take us out, Martin, or were you have you got more on your list that we maybe we need to get a production director in Series 2. Maybe.
I think, John, take us out.
So, listener, we've really appreciated your commitment to the podcast. We hope you've enjoyed the conversations, listening to our wins, our mistakes, the pressures and the planning, and all the bits that people don't always talk about openly. The podcast simply started as 2 weekly chats between 2 friends in the industry, and we decided to leave the door open and let others in. The great news is Series 2 is coming. It's been useful for me, or it has been useful for me. If it's been useful for you, please follow and share with people in the trade or people that are outside of the lawn care industry. Send us a question you're wrestling with, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the future.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.